way. So what this is a drop of blood, right? They've taken out of someone's arm and they put it on a microscope slide. And neutrophil is just a fancy way to say immune cell. Okay, so you got an immune cell there, red blood cells, and then you've got bacteria. And that bacteria is going to wiggle around that slide just from the thermodynamics and the fluid on that slide. This is obviously sped up in time lapse, but look how that immune cell is chasing that bacteria, right? It doesn't have eyes, it's literally smelling the bacteria, right? Look how it even completely changed directions. And then eventually it's going to catch it and engulf it, and it actually chews it up into small little bits. Can you pause it, Jeff? I don't know if you're that on that. But do you see how it ended up on the outside? Maybe we could just, do you want to see it one more time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that little particle is the actual bacteria.
It is,
The
yeah.
large blob that's moving is our antibody.
Not an antibody, it's actually going to be the immune cell. So the antibody, actually, will you pause it for just a sec, Jeff, if you don't mind? So the antibody, and I'll show you at the end here when it chews up the cell, the antibody is a specific protein that's made by part of our immune system, by specific immune cells. And what it is it's like a little sticky note that gets tagged on to the proteins. And the antibody recognizes the sequence of the protein, right? And so just like our DNA can have a lot of different sequences in our genes, proteins have similar sequences. So the antibody will bind to it, and it binds to it very, very strongly. And it's basically put a big sticky note on there, or a big flag that says, uh-oh, foreign invader, and it attracts some other immune cells to come and remove that bacteria or virus, whatever it might be, from the system. Okay? But I'll show you how that happens just right at the end. So Jeff, right when that thing, oh, I blew that for you. Right when that cell engulfs it, will you stop it again for me? So yeah, just remember, immune cell, these are just kind of red blood cells from the blood. Or, you guys wanted to see the whole thing again, right? Yeah. So maybe, there we go. Perfect. So the immune cell, those red blood cells, and then they've thrown some bacteria in there as well. It's just absolutely amazing. And you know, the reason you feel so run down when you get sick is this is a very energetic process, right? To fuel that immune cell to be able to move around. And then it sucks it up, and it's actually recruiting material to it to kill it. All right, can you stop like right there? So did you see how it ended up on the outside of the membrane? So what's happened is that immune cell has taken it in, it's killed it, and it's actually chopping it up into small little pieces, and it literally turns those pieces and puts them on the outside of that immune cell. So then what will happen is the cells that make those antibodies will come, and they'll kind of read the sequences of all those little bits of the protein that have been put on the outside of the membrane, and then those other antibody-producing immune cells will make a bunch of antibodies that just kind of float out into the bloodstream, and anytime they see that same sequence from that bacteria, it'll tag them. Okay? Pretty cool, huh?
So the immune cell, when it grabs the bacteria, does that make the immune cell weaker? Do you know how some people say immune cell, immunity is down? Is that because your cells, there's not enough cells? Is that because it's been fighting so much it's tired?
Yeah, so the question is really, what is a weak immune system? And normally, a weak immune system is defined as having just a lower number of immune cells. So your army, if you will, if you think of this as an army that's fighting those foreign invaders, your army is less than it would be pretty strong. But there is also specific activities that you can measure about how efficient they are at killing. So there are other measures of immune function, but usually a quick, easy measure of the doctor is just looking at white cell counts. So, any other questions? So anyway, I think it's pretty cool how our immune system's working, how those immune cells can smell those bacteria when they're invading, and then how they're actually killing. And again, it really is chemical warfare to isolate these beta-glucans, and they can boost the immune system that we take. And the main mechanism, and the point I want to get, is these beta-glucans are working in a very unique way by a mechanism that's called priming. So these beta-glucans literally prime the immune cell that when a bacteria or other foreign invader gets into our bodies, it's ready to jump and it's ready to pounce far more quickly than if they weren't already primed. And the simple way I like to think about this is it requires two keys to kind of unlock and make an immune cell become active. So the priming is really sticking the key in that first lock and unlocking it, and it much more quickly becomes activated. Instead of having both locks that need to be unlocked, there's only one. And so that's that notion of priming. And so what happens when you take a supplement that has these beta-glucans in it? They get absorbed mostly into the lymphatic tissue, but then they have to get absorbed by some of our immune cells. And they have to get metabolized in a very specific way, and then that immune cell actually excretes the metabolites of the beta-glucan. Are you with me still? So they have to be absorbed, metabolized by the immune cell, and they get spit back out. Then they start floating around, and they start to bind to the outside of those immune cells, just like that lock and key. And I've got just a quick little video that just kind of a cartoon that talks about how this priming works. So, right, you take a supplement, they get absorbed, especially in those immune-rich areas of our digestive system. They get out into circulation. Those immune cells, right, actually metabolize the beta-glucans. They spit them back out, and then they bind to the outside of those other immune cells, and it tells them to get ready. Something might be coming. And then once you do and are exposed to these bacteria or whatever, they're primed and ready to pounce on top of those cells. So pretty cool. So ProGlucamune is working in a completely new, different way than anything else that's in the product line. And it's a great way to round out your immune support. So, yeah.
Is it something that you would take every day?
So the question is it something you can take every day? And that's how we actually came across this whole mechanism with beta-glucans and priming. Back in the States, we have a product that we call Booster C. It's a fantastic product, but it's only meant to be taken when you first start to maybe feel that little tickle in your throat, and you're only supposed to take it for about 2 weeks. The active ingredient in there is echinacea, and it's been found that after about 2 weeks, you lose that effectiveness. So it's just a part-time, occasional product, and it's not really helping you defend. It's kind of, you need to be more reactive with it. So as we started looking for a way to upgrade our immune line, we came across these beta-glucans and this priming mechanism. And so it's exactly what we wanted to do, is come up with a product that people could take every single day to help them, especially in this time of the year.